no place like the Q. Family, you can hear it in my voice. I'm all stuffed up, okay? But this is still your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment.
Pride just means, being proud of yourself, being happy within yourself, loving yourself, and celebrating whatever you can. Whether you're gay, straight, trans, pride is for everything.
Pride means everything for me. It's being who I am and being my authentic self. Because for such a long time, I didn't get to do that, and now here I am.
Oh, God, pride means I can be myself and celebrate it, honey. That's what I'm talking about.
Pride means getting together with your community and having safety in numbers.
Pride means being able to be who you are and loving whoever you want, whenever you
over and over and over
and
again.
over again.
Over again.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
As I successfully completed my last Pride event of the season on Saturday during Chicago's Black Pride, I wanted to share voices from my first Pride event of the season at World Pride. It was Capitol Pride's parade when I went around asking folks what Pride means to them. And honestly, right now, given all that's going on around us, hearing these voices brought me a much-needed smile to my face, and I hope it had the same effect on you too. QCrew, what's going on? Thank you so much for your continued commitment to helping me sustain this podcast. I truly couldn't do it without you. You literally help cover the cost for our editor, Ryan, okay? And so, family, if you're listening to this podcast and you're not currently part of the QCrew, but you believe in the work we do, you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, and you love and respect how I report on the news, even when I sound this stuffed up, okay? Please join the QCrew. It starts as low as $5 a month, okay? And a link is in the show notes. Now, family, do you have a local news story not getting enough amplification, a queer organization other folks should know about? Are you an artist with a song coming out? Send in a queer news tip. I love hearing about them, so please keep them coming. Info on how to submit is in the show notes. Now for the news. In politics, Iowa became the first state to strip gender identity from its civil rights code, while University of Pennsylvania caved to Trump's threats and erased Lia Thompson's NCAA titles. In community, family, we have an update on Chyna Long's case out of Milwaukee. And in culture and entertainment, let me just tell you right now, it's our saving grace, okay? Nearly 100,000 people marched in Budapest for Pride, defying a government ban. In Chicago, Artis Restaurant faces closure after a tragic mass shooting outside its doors, and Noah's Ark has made history. Let's get into it. Family, let's start in politics like always, okay? And after nearly 20 years on the books as law, Iowa has officially removed gender identity from its civil rights code. This reversal officially makes them the first state in the country to take away protections it once gave to our trans and non-binary siblings living in Iowa. This is a really disappointing story, and I hope it doesn't become a trend. Because let me tell y'all what it really means. It means trans Iowans can now be legally fired, they can be denied housing or refuse service for just being who they are in the world. It also bans people from changing the sex marker on their birth certificates, and it defines male and female strictly by reproductive organs at birth. And if that wasn't enough, Medicaid in Iowa will no longer cover gender-affirming care like hormone therapy or surgery. Iowa's first openly trans lawmaker, Representative Amy Wichendahl, put it plainly in front of her political colleagues when she said this: anytime someone has to check your ID and they see that your gender marker doesn't match the appearance, then it opens up hostility and discrimination as possibilities. It instantly outs you and instantly puts you on the spot. when I'm just trying to apply for a job, going through the airport, buying a beer, or getting pulled over for a traffic stop. And I mean, it really is just that simple. And they're doing everything they can to erase our trans siblings from public life. And once they feel like they've done that successfully, please believe they coming for everybody else. So I really hope that you all are putting in the energy to fight back, to show up, to call your politicians and tell them you don't stand for this, because they are not done. When they feel like they've succeeded against our trans siblings, please know they're coming for us. And it feels like they're coming right now, okay? Big, beautiful bill and all. Now, our next story is a community news update, okay? That's so important because I love giving these updates on stories that we've covered on the show. So if you've been listening to the pod for a while, I mean, you might be one of the day ones, okay? You might remember this story from 2 years ago. It was episode 193, and for context, family, we are on episode 288, okay? Now, I reported about Chyna Long, a 31-year-old Black trans woman from Milwaukee, but she was living in Chicago for about 8 years at the time. Well, she went home to Milwaukee to reconnect with her family and friends, and that's when she was killed. Well, last month, a jury found 31-year-old Antonio Curran guilty, and this past week, he was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Now, why he murdered Chyna, we may never know, literally. We can only make real strong assumptions, though, can't we? Now, Chyna's father, Jonathan, spoke in court, and he said she lived her best life. She lived her truth, and that's what this case is about. One person living their truth and another person not living their truth. Chyna's cousin, Azaria, said Curran's apology felt hollow, adding, "It still feels fresh, it still feels unreal, and it's unfair." And while the family knows no sentence will ever bring Chyna back, as her cousin Shanae put it, she said, "At least we know he's not going to be out on the street to do this to someone else." And it's that part right there, right? Chyna's family remembered her as someone who was unapologetic. They talk about how much joy she brought to everybody's life, how she could dance and she would teach other people how to dance, and just how she was a loving person. At her vigil a couple of years ago, I reported that her father, Jonathan, said that he, as a father, he wished he would have asked more questions. He said, "I should have been closer. Even though I know she knows I accepted her lifestyle, I feel like I could have done more." I could feel his regret at the time. And we've heard this before, haven't we? A parent's regret around not knowing how to fully embrace their child for who they are. Family, if you're listening to this, don't leave this life with regrets, especially none like this. My heart goes out to Chyna's family, to those who loved her, and to those who knew her. For our last political story of the day, the University of Pennsylvania has succumbed to the financial threats of the Trump administration. The university has agreed to strip Lia Thomas, the first trans woman to win an NCAA D1 swimming championship, of her records and her titles. In a statement released this week, UPenn announced that complying with Trump means, family, and I hope y'all are ready for all of this, it means UPenn will adopt new policies banning trans women from competing in women's sports, specifically citing Trump's executive order from February that redefined sex as strictly biological at conception. UPenn will now remove Thomas's swimming titles, her times, from its official records. They are also having to send apology letters to athletes who lost to her. And if that wasn't enough, family, the university had to agree to separate locker rooms and bathrooms by biological sex, effectively banning trans women athletes from women's spaces. The Secretary of Education had this to say: "It's a great victory for women and girls all across our nation." This administration, y'all, it makes me sick to my stomach. And we can always know what a good bigot has to say, don't we? Well, Shawali Patel from the National Women's Law Center said the Trump administration's obsession with undermining bodily autonomy is the real harm to women and girls, not transgender athletes who want to compete alongside their peers. Their inclusion actually benefits women and girls. And family, when I'm reporting about transgender athletes, I always just want to reinforce the fact that there is no, and let me just say it again, no scientific evidence that trans women have a clear athletic advantage after medically transitioning. The fact is, a recent study funded by the International Olympic Committee found that they actually may face biological disadvantages after medically transitioning. Now, do you want to hear how much money the Trump administration was holding over UPenn's head? $175 million. Yeah, an amount they could never fundraise enough to make up for. If they didn't comply with this administration's demands, they were going to freeze $175 million of their research funding. And UPenn is not the only school they are doing this to. They are doing this to colleges across the country. And can I just share what I think fairness in sports actually looks like as a person who grew up a gym rat, played sports my entire life? Let me just tell you, family, it looks like girls having the same budget as the boys' sports teams. That's fairness. It looks like girls having the same facilities as the boys' teams. It looks like girls having the same number of evening games as the boys. It looks like girls having the same amount of media coverage as the boys. But that's not what this is. And they aren't even interested in this, okay? This is about erasing trans athletes and rewriting the rules to exclude them. And they're doing that. And today, it cost Lia Thomas her place in history. But as Patel said, we will continue to support Lia Thomas and her peers in their right to compete. Are y'all done with politics? Because I know I am. I'm done with politics for the day, okay? So let's just take a quick break. And when we get back, let's jump into culture and entertainment. Real Talk, Black Voices, Bold Truth. This is the Black Sex series sponsored by the WIN Project, presented by Nexus, and powered by Onyx Health Collective. This is a multi-part hybrid series centering Black experiences and dives deep into sex, pleasure, and healing, all in a safe, judgment-free space led by expert facilitators. And family, is free. Join the next one on Thursday, July 10th at 5:30 p.m. This session is all about penile pleasure. So get into it, okay? Because the more you know. To lock in your spot, you've got to RSVP. A link is in the show notes.
Mental health parity is the law requiring that your health insurance coverage for mental health or substance use disorders is no more restrictive than coverage for your physical health. Learn more about mental health parity laws at getcoveredillinois.gov.
Howard Brown is excited to launch a new monthly outreach initiative at the South Shore Library. That's right, on the south side of Chicago. Starting on June 26th, you can visit the South Shore Library to get a free HIV and STI screening every single month. Blood pressure and diabetes screenings, as well as name change support and linkages to care, are also provided on a rotating schedule. Allow your screening to be a pathway to long-term access to care. We've got to take care of ourselves, family. For more information, visit howardbrown.org. Family, welcome back to the show. Now let's get into some culture and entertainment. And can I just say, culture and entertainment gives me hope in humanity every single week. I don't know about you, but it's definitely my favorite part of the show these days. And since going to World Pride, I've wanted to make more of an effort on reporting on stories happening outside of the U.S. as well. And I got a great one for you, okay? In Budapest, around 100,000 people, which is incredible, 100,000 people defied a government ban and police threats to march in the biggest LGBTQ plus pride in Hungary's history. It was an open rebuke of their prime minister's far-right government, which in March outlawed pride events, claiming they violate children's rights. These marchers risked fines, surveillance, jail time, all the things, family. And you know what they decided to do? Dance in the street. They waved rainbow flags, okay, anti-government flags. And for them, it wasn't just about LGBTQ rights, it was about fighting for democracy itself. As Blanca, one of the marchers, put it, this isn't just about LGBTQ rights, it's about the right to assemble and about standing up for each other and not allowing the government to oppress us. Doesn't this sound familiar? Family, what happened in Budapest is a reminder that pride was born as an act of resistance. And for many around the world, it still is. And for us here in the US, it still is. Even under threat, the people showed up. And that's the mandate right now. We just gotta keep showing up. Hearing these stories and letting their courage be contagious. Can we do that? We must do that. Our next story is a Chicago one, and if you live in Chicago, the owners of the Artis Restaurant can really use our support right now. And let me tell you more, because you may have heard this story, especially if you're in Chicago. On July 3rd, a mass shooting took place outside of Artis Restaurant, and it's a new Black lesbian-owned spot in a neighborhood called River North. They just opened in April. Now, this shooting left 4 people dead and at least 14 other people injured. According to police, a Black vehicle pulled up outside of the restaurant around 11 p.m., and it was at the end of an album release party for a Chicago drill rapper named Mellow Bucks. Now, authorities believe Mellow could have been the target for the shooting, but get this, she had already left the venue. The release party was over. Her boyfriend and best friend were among those who lost their lives that night. Now, this isn't the first time tragedy has struck this corner. Back in 2022, when the space was operated as Hush Chicago, a fatal shooting occurred outside as well. But what makes this so devastating is what Artis stands for. It was opened by a married couple, Brittany and Brandy Artis, and the restaurant was created as a safe space for Black, brown, and queer communities. And they shared a statement on their Instagram after this incident. They said Artis was created as a safe space. And what happened last night disrupted it in the most painful way. They went on to say that this moment is painful, but it only strengthens their commitment to hold space for those who need it most. Now, the alderman of the 42nd Ward, Brendan Riley, is calling for the restaurant to be permanently closed. This ward represents 60% of the city's economic activity, so you can imagine he wields quite some power around the city. Well, I'm standing with the owners and hoping that they don't have to close their doors. This release party was over. They had done their jobs. The artists of the night had even left. Honestly, family, this was targeted and it's tragic. I just interviewed this couple at their restaurant. I hadn't edited yet or released it yet, but I feel like I need to now, right? The food is delicious. It's a beautiful space. And so what they're asking for us to do is to make a call to action, call the alderman's office and tell them that we support the restaurant staying open. The number is 312-744-3062. That's 312-744-3062, and tell them that you're standing with Artis. Family, we are keeping the victims. I saw the stories. It's just all very heartbreaking. All these people were young, under 25, 26 years old. All of it just so senseless. All of it just so heartbreaking. And so if you feel so compelled, please call the alderman's office and support. Post on social media and use the hashtag #StandingWithArtis. We all we got out here. Family, to close out the show, we got good news. You know I like a good ice cream sandwich, okay? Some good, some tough, and some more good, okay? And this isn't just good news. We've got Black queer history to talk about. Y'all know I've been raving about Noah's Ark, the movie, okay, that I have officially seen more than a dozen times now. No judgment, okay? But it has officially cracked the top 10 on Paramount Plus's list, coming in at number 4, okay? Now, this is a milestone that makes it the first all-Black gay film ever to reach this level of streaming success on the platform. Actor Rodney Chester, who returned as Alex, one of our favorites, okay, celebrated on Instagram saying Noah's Ark is trending in the top 5 movies on Paramount. Thank you, fans. And Alex, you are so welcome, okay? Written and produced and directed by Patrick Ian Polk, the film picks up after the 2020 special Noah's Ark, The Rona Chronicles. It follows our beloved couple, Noah and Wade, as they prepare to welcome twins, only to face the challenges of balancing fatherhood with dream careers they've always wanted. It's been 20 years since Noah's Ark made history as the first TV series about Black gay men, and now the movie's streaming success proves what we already know. Authentic, unapologetic representation matters, and we want it, and we want more of it, okay? I saw this story as reported by Gay Magazine. We love them, okay? And they put it so well. They said this is more than entertainment. It's a testament to the power and endurance of Black queer storytelling. Come on. So Patrick Ian Polk, the entire cast and crew, congratulations on making history again. And family, if you haven't streamed it yet, I'm just wondering what you're waiting on exactly, okay? I'm just saying. Now, y'all know it's time for Anna's Got a Word, because Anna's always got a word. And at the end of the day, family, if you can't hear it in my voice, just know I was tired. This professional queer is absolutely worn out. There is rest in my future. I will find it in the midst of everything else. But let me just tell y'all, this Pride season was epic. It was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. And as tired as I am, is as equally grateful as I am. Do you know what I'm saying? World Pride, epic. I had 2 keynotes this month, epic. I guest emceed the Chicago Pride's Pride Night, epic. Okay? I emceed Sidetrack's float during the Chicago Pride Parade, epic. I also had a keynote canceled. I had a keynote censored, okay? Epic. These last 6 weeks have been unlike anything I've ever experienced. This platform has elevated my voice and my work to spaces and places I had never even imagined. I really can't express just how grateful I am to have been working when I know so many of my other queer colleagues were not working. And so in this moment of being as tired as I am, as hot as I am, because I had to turn the AC off to record, okay? I'm over here sweating, y'all. I just want y'all to know that I am grateful, and I thank you all for your continued support. And if you love this podcast, and if you're still listening, I know you do, make sure you're telling a friend to listen to, okay? All right. Till next week. Peace. If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna DeShawn. Podcast editing by Ryan Woodhall. And brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News Done Right.